All right. No, that's all. Please trust me. I actually didn't know that. That's really weird that person out of
Out of everybody.
very, very odd. We have a $5 more just from Patrick Perellis. Thank you so much. I didn't say anything. I appreciate it. All right. So here's some more good news, guys. Let's just play the story.
We begin, unfortunately, with terrible and breaking news from Mexico.
Okay, hold on, Gail. Why don't you fucking brush your hair before you decide to come on? What a mess.
That is
what a fucking mess.
Rolling out of bed look.
Jesus Christ. Tell fucking Oprah to go easy with her thighs on your head.
Breaking news from Mexico, where
allegedly. I said allegedly.
That was very spicy. I like
allegedly.
That. That's good.
Yeah.
At least 9 Americans, including 6 children, were killed in an ambush.
Children.
Video of the aftermath shows a burned-out vehicle targeted
Holy
in the
shit.
attack. Family members of the victims tell CBS News that they do believe that a drug cartel is behind this ambush. It happened yesterday, about 100 miles south of the U.S.-Mexico border.
The victims, who were all women and children, were in a convoy taking some of them to a wedding. They were members of a Mormon group based in northern Mexico. The family says the FBI is now part of the investigation. Drika Duncan is following this disturbing and developing story. Drika, good morning. So what more do we know?
You know, there's still so many questions, and this just happened last night. Authorities in Mexico say they've deployed members of their army, National Guard, and state police to investigate.
Oh, don't worry, guys. Mexico's sending their people to investigate. The same people that were backed down by the very drug cartel.
The victims all left their community at the same time in 3 separate cars. Some were traveling back to the United States, some to the neighboring town of LeBaron for a wedding, when suddenly they were struck by a hail of gunfire so severe that one of the cars exploded.
This is for the record. Nita and 4 of my grandchildren are burnt and shot up.
That's hard. Oh, man. That's rough. That's really rough, man.
A video posted to Facebook, you can see the aftermath of the attack. The scorched SUV that apparently contained the burnt bodies of Maria Ronita Miller and 4 of her 7 children. It's unclear if they were specifically targeted. The victims reportedly all belong to a decades.
Look at the last. Look how
They're
young.
shit, they're babies
Look how
and
young the last 2 are.
Yeah, dude. This is fucked. They're all mostly kids. They killed the majority of kids.
Old Mormon community based in northern Mexico. The youngest victims were twin babies, just 7 months old. Some of the children miraculously survived the ambush but sustained gunshot wounds. They were found by family members. Relatives say 5 remain in the hospital.
I was so angry. It's so angry and yet so sad. It was horrifying.
Trish Close is the aunt of victim Donna Ray Langford.
All we could do was immediately start thinking positive and praying at the same time that we were all devastated and very emotional.
Pause. Look, because I don't want to, I'm not trying to be a dick here or anything, right? But were they on like doing missionary work?
No, they were going to a wedding.
They were? Okay, then I actually feel bad. 'Cause I was gonna say,
they're not from there. There
right.
was a wedding. There was a Mormon church they were going to go to a wedding.
Okay. I mean, it's because it's like, that's weird to bring a bunch of kids.
No.
They
I
were
get
just
it.
going to a wedding.
They were going to a Mormon church. They were going to a wedding.
Jesus Christ.
Going to a wedding.
It's something that you can't explain, how there's evil people in this world that could do such a thing like that.
Some relatives say they believe the women and children were not the intended targets of the cartels and that this was a case of mistaken identity.
They are amazing, family-oriented people. They are loving, they are giving, they're always looking out for others. They're an incredible group of people.
I'll tell you one thing, dude. These fucking, by the way, somebody who runs that cartel right now has like 4 guys tied up with fucking tires filled with gasoline around their necks. And they're like, you fucked up, dude. This is just dark.
One family member we spoke to says the children who survived are in the process of being brought to the United States for medical treatment. CBS News has reached out to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico, but have not heard back yet. Just horrible.
It's hard to wrap your brain around what we just saw.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's hard. Isn't it fucking hard to wrap your brain around it? But every time we try to bring it up, and every time we try to say, hey, maybe we need, I don't know, Mike, I'm going to go on a limb here, some sort of structure. You know, like some sort of, I don't know, a barrier? You know, like some sort of something to stop this from, you know.
You're sounding, I don't know, kind of racist, dude.
Every time we say that, you say how they're all dreamers and how everything is awesome. So there's a lot of things here that need to be, that I think, first off, Mike, yeah, but what about the Kurds? Isn't that what really matters? Is the Kurds?
I mean, look, clearly you're racist against Hispanic people. It's clear that you're showing your bias, and you just don't want these people in our country.
It's the Kurds, of course. It's the Kurds. Here's the. Imagine if it was a U.S. Imagine if it was any country, government, any country's government that killed 9 U.S. citizens. That would be considered, I think we would all agree, we can all agree, an act of war. Correct? We'd all agree that is a...
Yeah, I mean...
Especially children, women and children.
Maybe, I mean, yeah, if it were the government itself.
That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about. But let's say it was. Okay. Now, of course, everyone's going to say, well, it wasn't the Mexican government. Who's in charge in Mexico? Do you think the president's in charge? Because we play these stories all the time. Is the president in charge? Is there police force that's completely compromised in charge? The cartel runs Mexico. I mean, that's not even conjecture. That isn't even something you have to say allegedly. The cartel runs Mexico. They run everything.
Yeah.
So what you have is you have a rogue government in Mexico that's killing American citizens. And we're doing nothing about it. Instead, Dan Crenshaw's going to sit up there, fucking pirate motherfucker, and talk about how Israel needs $3.8 billion when this should happen on our fucking border. In our people. But no, you're right, though, Dan. Let's go save some statues in Jerusalem. Let's go do that.
This is really fun. I mean, yeah, seriously, if we just had our dudes on our border, that's really all it would take. I mean, there would be... and honestly, we don't even need to put our active duty guys. You put the fucking National Guard guys down there. You know what I mean? There are Texas National Guard guys that would love to drink beers and ride quads all over the border all weekend. Like, people would love that. They'd be like, yeah, dude, it's a fucking party, man, every weekend. You know what? Nobody comes over the border anymore because they just hear a bunch of rowdy dudes in fatigues hanging out on the border. It's very simple. We don't even need a wall, dude. We already pay shitloads of money to people who are either part-time or full-time in the military or in the National Guard. They're already being paid. They would literally, if you go to the border right now, they'd be like, El Paso? All right, boys, we're going to El Paso. And they would just go. We just won't do it because they need voters.
If you listen to, and look, we're not going to get into, put all the conspiracy theories aside for a second. I just want to make a point. The story that was fed to us on 9/11, right? That a bunch of rogue terrorists, got into a plane and flew it and killed American citizens, right? In response, we went and we bombed the country. Now, the story, it wasn't Afghanistan's government that did it.
Yeah, they were not. I mean, it was the Taliban, but they weren't involved. They just had the guy there, and they were like, we don't have the infrastructure to go get him.
So what are we doing with all these troops in the fucking Middle East protecting the Kurds when U.S. citizens are getting routinely murdered? And that's what you see now. How many times do we hear about illegal aliens coming in this country and killing somebody in California or killing people in Texas?
It never happens.
People are overdosing from fentanyl, right? Yeah, sure. Fentanyl's made in China, right? But it goes through the Mexican border. A lot of it goes through the Mexican border. And every time you bring up a wall, you know what else came out? When they were going through El Chapo's stuff, like, they were doing an inventory of all his stuff. You know one of the guns he had? They traced his serial number back. One of the guns he has was one of the guns that was used in Operation Fast and Furious.
Family.
Hey, family.
We're loyal to Mexican family.